And here we are. All right, so, for those unfamiliar, our project is called A Night Under Siege. And A Night Under Siege is it's a game made in Unity game engine with the C# programming language. And what it is it's an asymmetric multiplayer game where players can connect online and they can compete against each other as one of two teams. There's a hero team and there's the necromancer team. So the hero team is made up of three medieval warriors. There's a knight, an archer, and a wizard. And the necromancer team, well, it's mainly just the necromancer, but he can also summon a variety of different evil minions and monsters to fight the heroes. So the goal of the game is pretty simple. The necromancer is summoning minions like these skeletons in this picture here to attack the heroes like this archer. And if the necromancer can attack the heroes to the point where their health bar depletes all the way to 0, then the necromancer wins. But if this timer in the top center here runs out before the necromancer can do so, the heroes win. They survive the night. Essentially, that's the main aspect of this project. That's kind of the idea that everything within this project is, rallying behind. Now, as for the design, we got the online multiplayer working using something called Photon, which is an online multiplayer library that's compatible with Unity, compatible with C#. That gave us a lot of the callbacks and methods we needed to get an online lobby, get an online server system working, and getting everything synced between the different players. You'll find that a lot of our challenges when making this project was getting synchronization between players working. So you'd have two players, both playing the same game in the same room. And the idea is that you want what's on the screen to be the same for both players. But that can be difficult because you have to call the methods for each of these players simultaneously, and they have to, produce the exact same output, the same results, and be done at the same time. So, some of the difficulties we were having, the main challenges of this project involved figuring out what we needed to do to get everything in sync, running at the exact same time, and at a decent latency. So in the top right here, this is actually a measure of the latency of the game. This was taken by Mark's computer, and Mark is in Japan right now, so the latency is a little higher than average. What you'll find is that once we start going into the game, our latency is going to be more around the 40 to 50 range. But yeah, that's kind of the main structure of this project. We have, the user's client machines, which are rendering the different visual aspects of the game. And then all the while, they're transferring information to a server, a central server, where all of the information is done in sync. Things can be run for multiple players at the same time. And yeah, just everything that needs to be done to get every moving piece in the game synced up at once. So yeah, those are a lot of the main features of the game. And when it comes to synchronization, we have, I have another screen actually in the Zoom meeting. I don't know if you've seen Jonathan Guest, but what we have here is that I can switch from this slide to that screen and show you the stream of everybody's game at once. But before that, we want everyone to download the game. So in addition to the slide, we have a few extra slides. And Mark, I believe you set this up. Would you care to kind of talk about how to download this game?
Sure, let me share the link in the chat to make it easier for everyone to access it.
I'll actually post a web version too. Yeah. So, but this is only for demo purposes. It will very likely have bugs. But you should be able to just play online there if you aren't comfortable downloading it or don't want to deal with that.
Okay. And then tell us if you mind sharing the, or Tassa, sorry, I keep mispronouncing it. Do you mind sharing the Mac one as well?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is if you click on that link, you'll get brought to this page. You click download in the top right, and then you go to the next slide. Download anyway, it's gonna say can't scan for viruses. I assure you guys, we did not put any viruses in this file. We're trying to get an A. We don't want to infect anyone's computer.
Next build will have viruses though. Promise.
Yeah.
All right, so you go to the next slide now. And once you get that, you're gonna get a zip file. You need to extract that zip file. You can see I highlighted it. You can extract it. If you have 7-zip or however you want to, you're gonna extract the file.
Next slide.
Next slide. You'll see this come up once you extract it. You go to the next slide. You'll open that file, obviously. And you're going to see an executable in there. That's the one you want to click. When you click that, the game will launch.
And would that be it?
That is it. The game will launch, and then you guys are all set and ready to go.
All right. Thank you for the very helpful instructions. So with that out of the way, I will switch over to my desktop that's going to be streaming the game. So if I can just escape, and hopefully it won't take too long to set this up. I'll view everyone's streams. Good, perfect. Okay, so now I just got to share it through Zoom. So I'll stop this share, and then as long as I open this, it should be okay. All right, sweet. So I think you can see everything, right?
Yeah, correct.
All right, good.
I think just John's isn't. You have to add John's onto there too.
No problem. I can do that right now. All right, so this is every other group member's game stream. You can see that the title screen is a little different on each one, depending on the resolution. But this is A Night Under Siege. Gotten a very tiny makeover since you last saw it. But from here, we're going to go through each of our user stories, and then later on, you guys can join in the game as well. Jordan, I will let you be the main guide through these first few features. So are you ready to kind of demonstrate them?
Okay. Yeah. First, I'll take you through the settings menu before we actually get into any games. So from the main menu, you can go to the settings, and from here you have a couple of choices what you want to alter. There's the audio settings, which if you, I'm not sure if you can hear my stream right now, but there is game volume. Oh, a little loud. But the volume for the game is all controlled through this setting. You can I could change it.
See, I think some other people.
I think
someone,
someone else's audio.
Here.
Yeah, just mute the others real quick.
Zoom overlay. Right. Wait, no.
Yeah, just leave it running. It rocks.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jordan, it should just be you.
Yeah, okay, you can hear it. So now you're just hearing it from my screen. So you can hear the volume change as I move the volume along. I'll keep it on a little bit, just so it's not overpowering the...
Yeah. And just as a reminder, Stephen wrote all of these tracks for the game, which is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. So next I can go into visual settings, and it's kind of hard to show over here because I believe it's just gonna do this. I believe if I change the resolution here, you can't. Oh, you can't see the change. Okay.
Small change, but you can see it.
So yeah, my screen is windowed right now, and I'm just kind of doing different resolutions. You can kind of see the difference over the call. It's a lot more obvious when you're actually looking at my whole screen, though. I can also full screen it. Yeah, and last of the settings is the controls. So these are what all your controls are currently set to. You can click on it and change the bindings, whatever you want. So I can change these to like the arrow keys if I'd like to. And when I'm actually in game, these changes will be reflected. But if I wanted to, if I was like, I wanted to just go back to the defaults, there is a button that just resets everything to normal. So I could mess with this as much as I wanted and then go back to the regular if I wanted. For now, I'll change it to these just so I'm actually using changes. Everything in the settings menu is personal settings for you. So if you change one of these, it won't affect anyone else's preferences. And they'll remain consistent throughout different sessions. So if you exited the game, came back in, the settings are going to be the same as you left them before. And all these settings from this menu are also available in game through the pause menu.
Okay. All right. So that'll be it for the settings.
Yep, that should be it.
All right. So let's all jump into a game. So what everyone's going to be doing is that the moment you start up the game, that multiplayer button kind of loads in. And then once you're able to connect to the server, the Photon server that's hosting this game, you could jump into the room select screen where you have a big square in the center that will display all of the open rooms in the game currently. Right now, nobody's hosting a room. So this is completely empty. But as soon as somebody creates a room, anybody could create a room. But let's see, Jordan, I see that your name is not shown there. Mm-hmm. In the top center, you have give yourself a name. So everybody, when they start the game for the first time, they're not going to have a name either. So what you want to do is you want to click up there in the top center and type in any name you want for yourself, as long as it's, I think, alphanumeric only, or at the very least, just alphabet characters. But regardless, you can see that Jordan just typed in the name Jordan, simple enough. So now they can join a game. So I guess you could join John's game. He's up top there. See, you can, yeah, you may have been able to see from the other lobby screens, but there were indicators for the number of players in the room and on the max number of players. And then, yeah, there it is. All right, so there are 4 people in a room right now. Are we able to get 5? Or, oh, there are 5. Yes, it scrolls. Okay. So yeah, there are 5 players in the room. You'll notice in this screen, there are room settings. And then John here is the host of the room. So he's able to change the settings on a whim. So he can set things like the max number of players in the room, the speed of the necromancer's minions, the health of the players, friendly fire, the length of the timer, which he set to 2 minutes for the purpose of this demo. And then a new feature down in the bottom here is AI only mode, which will let you play a game entirely with AI players. They'll just take you over immediately, and the game will be entirely self-run. For this first game, we're just going to have human players, but we will get back to this. So John can return. And do we have one of every type of hero here? We got John as the knight. We got Jordan as the archer. We have, I can't read that. Okay, Mark as the necromancer. And then we got 2 archers.
Yeah, I just switched to wizard for this.
So I think you guys can hop into a game.
Okay.
So all John has to do is click start game and everyone will load in. The timer right now is 0, but as soon as John, the host, enters the game, it should be, yeah, there we go. The timer starts counting down. So the timer is synced for everybody. And as you can see, we now have a camera following each of the heroes. You're able to zoom this camera in and out using the scroll wheel on the mouse. And so, you know, you could play as each of these individual heroes, wander around the map, shoot off projectiles, or use your sword if you're the knight. And what the necromancer does, as you can see in this section here, the necromancer has these little purple areas that he can use to spawn monsters. So the necromancer has a little overlay down here that lets you choose which monster to spawn. And then when you click that area, the monster will actually pop into the game. And this takes up your resources as a necromancer, your mana, or MP as it's usually called. So each minion has their own mana cost, and that cost will be subtracted from your current total when you're actually in the game. And then a new feature that we added is that the max amount of mana you could hold as a necromancer will steadily increase over the course of the game. Every 30 seconds, there will be an increase of about 10. This is only a 2-minute game, so you'll only see the increase happen 4 times. But if the games are longer, the necromancer will get even more strong and powerful. So yeah, as a necromancer, you could just spawn in as many minions as you like, and the heroes are going to try to stay alive, work together, and fight them off. So they got 19 seconds to be able to win this game.
Oh no, looks
got a
like
little
it's
trouble
like
over in the
getting
corner
clobbered.
there.
Honest.
Oh, it seems someone has died. Let's see, I believe that was John, the brave knight. Rest his soul. But we got 2 seconds left. And there, the scene loads in for everybody. It takes a bit of time, but it comes in. So as you can see, the heroes won, the necromancer lost. So
I'm actually playing through the editor, so you can actually see like some of the information that's being passed back and forth here. Which
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well, right now it's just printing the coordinates of where all of the different characters are. So we have the minions, and then let me see if I can find some players in here. Unfortunately, it's a lot of information because there's a lot of minions.
I'm not sure we see what's happening at the moment with your server log.
It's not really active right now because it changed scenes.
Okay.
But
well, we don't see like anything being printed. We don't see like the rest of the editor.
It's not actively printing right now because the game ended.
We'll want to show that off though. All right. So.
Oh, it's not actually sharing the screen.
Yeah.
Let me see if screens. Yeah. There we go.
Okay, there it is.
So
yeah.
Make it bigger. But
see.
This is just a vector 3, which is just the coordinate system that Unity uses.
Yeah, essentially what's happening is that during the game, the positions of every player and enemy will be printed onto the screen at regular intervals. So this is only in kind of the debug log for the game. It's not a feature within the game itself, but like if you can see that, you can see that the positions are being passed through to the server and back to this log. Pretty much, every frame, almost every frame. And then, yeah, the positions update in real time. So that's pretty awesome. So we should play another game now. And this game, something interesting is going to happen. All right, so we'll start a game. You can keep the same characters if you'd like. Sure. Okay. Let's see, what is that? 3 wizards and an archer? Okay. There we go. That's a little more diverse. But regardless, you can start the game. Yeah, timer like is still 2 minutes. That's good. Now, we'll wait for everyone to join in. Okay. Now, before you get too into the thick of things, one player is going to have an unfortunate internet connection and disconnect from the game. Now, who would that lucky player be? It seems Stephen has volunteered. And also Jordan. That's good. It's fine. But now, if we could get a close-up of Stephen and Jordan's old players, you'll see that something has changed. They're standing perfectly still for one thing, but they also have the AI in parentheses next to their name. So what's happening is that when Jordan and Stephen disconnect, the AI is taking over their players. Their players no longer kind of disappear from the room as they used to. They stay in the room, but now they're being taken over by a computer, an AI. Now, right now, they aren't moving at all. They don't have anything to do. But if the necromancer, Mark, were to spawn in some enemies, the AI begins to move. And not only will it move, it'll seek out enemies and shoot at them. So I believe you could see that happening, right? Yeah. It was Stephen as the archer, and yeah, Stephen as the archer and Jordan as the wizard. They're the ones who are currently moving around as AI and attacking using their pathfinding. We should mention that we made improvements to the pathfinding of the minions especially. Before, the minions didn't really have the same pathfinding as the player AI, where they could sometimes get stuck inside certain obstacles. But now the minions are a little smarter, I should say. They're able to work their way around obstacles in the map the same way as a player can. But it seems that the game has ended. Once again, another defeat for the necromancer. But no worries, we can actually make that. We can make that a little more difficult. If you guys want to play another game, John can change some of the settings. So yeah, you could increase or decrease the timer length all you want, or the max players. But the player health is now 1, and then the minion speed is now twice as fast. So minions were walking at a steady pace before. Now they're going to be pretty much sprinting toward the player. And so if we try a game with these settings, all right, the necromancer is going to go all out as soon as they spawn in. And then John will be here too eventually. There we go. All right. Good luck. Let's see. One thing I might mention is that you may have at times seen the archer shoot 3 arrows at once. That's a special ability that's unique to the archer. I call it the triple shot personally, where, pretty much exactly as it says, you fire 3 arrows at the same time in slightly different directions. So that's the archer's kind of special ability. And there's even a little image in the bottom right corner of that screen to show off. Yeah, I believe it's right here. The zoom overlay is in the way again. Yeah, right here to show off when they're able to use that ability. So yeah, whenever that's clicked, you can see that it does a little reset animation before you're able to use the triple shot again. Nice dramatic zoom there. Nice job to Stephen still being in this over halfway through the game. But yeah, so again, that's the archer special ability. We can go into the other 2 characters' special ability a little later, but we want to show off some of the other features first. All right, so Stephen has left the game. So I believe it's all AI now, aside from the necromancer. Let's see, there we go. The heroes have lost this time, I believe. The necromancer has finally won a game. But now, kind of an important feature I want to show off. If you can all go back into the room. All right, so we're going to go into the settings, and we're going to turn on the AI only mode. And what happens now after you press start is going to be pretty simple. The game's going to play itself, and we won't have any input over it. So this is what it looks like to have a game entirely self-run. You can still pause the game. The pause menu still shows up when a hero dies. And then, oh, wow, that was fast. The necromancer is apparently very good in this mode. But yeah, we can play another game.
have a lot of time. We'll have to speed up here.
All right. Okay, so you guys can start when you're ready. But yeah, you're still able to move the camera. You're still able to pause the game, but your input is kind of blocked. You cannot move yourself. It's only the AI that's moving for you. And there seems to be some kind of, I guess there's still a bug with the system where the AI is just dying a lot faster than it's supposed to be. We did set the health to 5, but it appears that it's only taking 1 hit
no,
before
it was
going
1.
down. Oh, okay. That's not a bug. That's a feature. It's intended.
It's a feature.
While this is all going on, I'm going to point out that I'm in a lobby with Jesse and Parth. If you wanted to like start that game while they're doing the demo, like that won't interrupt anything. Like
That's true. If anyone in a room was able to leave the room, you'd be able to see both games going on. Although not now because one of the games started. But
yeah, so while they do their thing, this game does support multiple games going on in lobbies. So like
but yes, you are able to host multiple sessions at the same time. We can show that off in more detail if you're interested.
Yeah, Jonathan, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We probably running out of time.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So those are most of the major features. Do you have any questions?
I had a quick question.
Later we can, you guys want to play together, multi-session game, you guys can play together. A very interesting game, a lot of features. I like the AI players, the game play by itself. Looks like AI very smarter than a human being, just because the game just ends so quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, you want to say something? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
Kevin.
yeah, no worries. Is the server like peer-to-peer, or where is it actually hosted when you start it?
That's a good question. I believe it's kind of a backdoor photon thing. I don't believe we have too much control over
Right now,
the exact settings.
it's being manually forced to be in the US, but after we're done, we might open it up so it's just peer-to-peer.
Oh, but it's like a hosted server. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a leg up on Nintendo then.
Sure. It's not hard. Any other questions?
Anyone any questions? Well, certainly I think you guys should set up another time, can play together. Maybe 20 people, get separate 2 sessions. Each session have 10 players play together to see if the still can survive.
We can get up to 15 in a single session.
Oh, you can. How many players have you tested? The maximum players.
We've only tested up to around 7 or 8, I think. But theoretically, there shouldn't be a problem.
We've hit 9.
We just have like a hard cap of 16, and then the most total concurrent rooms that our servers can handle is 20.
Okay. Now, Mark, you're in Japan. What kind of issues you have? Because now that's a very interesting issue. Another issue question. If someone is far away, maybe have the bandwidth limitation, So can you guys say something about that? How, any difficulties when someone like Mark in Japan, he played during the game, really slow down the whole overall performance of the game, or any other issues you guys, had?
I can speak to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, John. So as far as issues, the only issue is that my latency is a little high.
Mm-hmm.
As you saw with the slide, right? It's about 200. That's to be expected because the server's in the United States. It just takes some time to get there. But the biggest issue I think we had was with the clock. It was counting down. Now Jonathan came in. I think it was Jonathan that you made this, where the clock was actually synced. So when we were starting, that's why you see like the victory and the defeat at the exact same time is because of Jonathan. And that's the only issue, but we accounted for it and we fixed it. Besides that, it's just high latency, but it's not so high that I can't play. I can't see the players on my screen. As you can see there, I'm sharing my screen, so Jonathan is seeing my screen. So he's going to Japan, which is going to the United States to show it back in the United States. So it's got, it's going around the world, twice almost. And it's still showing fairly quickly what's happening. So I think that's the only biggest issue. And, there's nothing you can do about that.
Sure, of course, there's nothing you can do about it, but no, it's very, very critical to identify any issues, because this label is like a special case, right? If you were not in Japan, we wouldn't have this kind of opportunity to test it. It's a very good test. One of the user, one of the players is in Japan. Have extremely longer latency. To see how the game still, works. Very good. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I wish I had time to let everyone join the game to play it, but we run out of time because I have a third session at 3:30. So thank you very much. Okay, give them big hands, and let's move on to the next project.
All right, I'll stop this share. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chris, share your screen.